Yeah, thank you.
Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Leah. Good evening, all the participants. So yesterday we discussed about um, people, environment, and development. Do you have any doubt on the topic? My screen is visible now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. API. Okay. So no doubt now. Yesterday topic. Shall we start today topic on logical reasoning?
No, sir, no doubts.
Okay. Who's the? Can we use the bird AA? I don't know, Sobia. We don't know that much of friendly with the AI. So, so today is the logical reasoning. So, unit number 6. There are from this unit also 5 questions will be coming. Totally 10 marks. So, what are the major topic in this cover will be covered in this unit? Understanding of the structure of the argument on argument forms and categorical proposition, formal informal fallacies, and uses of the language and connotation and denotation, and evaluation and distinction, deductive and inductive reasoning on Indian Venn diagram and Indian logic, means of knowledges. Different types of Indian philosophy school is there in from ancient India. So we go one by one. And here I didn't take, I not covered the analogies and Venn diagram. Most probably other topic will be covered. And in so the logical reasoning, what is the logical reasoning? So logical reasoning logically adopt the completing a rational approach to the solve a problem with no chance for the ambiguity. The word logic comes from the Greek word logos. So literally meaning of the logical reasoning, literally meaning word, thought, speech, reason, energy, and fire. So basically logical reasoning is the rational approach to solve the one particular problem, and there are some of the terminology using in the logical reasoning. Statement and argument. Statement is mean it's a sentence that is either true or false. The cat is on the floor. So the statement is the example, the cat is on the floor. It is a statement. We don't know it's a true or false, but it is a statement. An argument is a group of statement including one or more premises and only one conclusion. So that premises to prove the conclusion. So example, premise is the all men are mortal, and Socrates is a man, and conclusion is a Socrates is a man. So here the first two premises, two argument is the two statement is the premises of the argument, and conclusion, and third part is the conclusion which author want to prove the premises, that is the conclusion. So these are the difference between statement and argument. And premises, so premises is the argument what provides some of the basic reason or support to get the conclusion. So in that example, see, Socrates is a mortal. So for this conclusion, we need some statement or argument. So that is the premises. So these statement or argument prove the conclusion. That's called the premises. And conclusion, the what arguer or author trying to convince the reader or listener. So there can be only one conclusion or in a single argument. So in premises, one or two or many premises will be coming, and conclusion it's only one argument. So in this picture, see that argument of the structure. So premises and conclusion. Premises mean reason why the following conclusion is a true. So what reason for the conclusion, and conclusion is the point the author trying to prove through the premises, the author trying to prove something, that is called the conclusion. So are you clear? Premises, conclusion, statement and argument. Please started in the textbook. Shall I move on next topic, next chapter?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So and what is the type of reasoning? So in logical reasoning, there are three types of reasoning. Is there? We in research methodology we seen three types of deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning, and abductive reasoning. So what is a deductive reasoning? So in deductive reasoning, conclusion is guaranteed to be true, or if the premises are the true. So the conclusion cannot be more general than the premises. The conclusion mostly that argument is the general to specific. So example, premise is all dogs have long ears. Tommy is a dog, therefore Tommy has a long ear. So here all dogs, they notify here all dogs means general term. All dogs have long hair. The premise is Tommy is a dog, and conclusion is a Tommy. So Tommy is here a specific or particular dog. So Tommy has a single ear. So the argument is particular in general to particular. That is called a deductive reasoning. We can deductive reasoning is a general to specific, or general to particular, or universal to particular. So all dogs is the universal, and Tommy is the particular or specific. So this is the deductive reasoning. And inductive reasoning is a making generalized decision after the observation. So here from the specific observation we create the generalization, that is called inductive reasoning. Example, premise is we have seen 1,000 swan, so all of them have been white, therefore all swan are white. So here we have seen in 1,000 swan, but we don't know what is the number of swan around the world, but we seen only 1,000 swan. From that observation, all of that 1,000 swan is the color is the white. So from the two premises we conclude therefore all swan are white. So here this is not fully correct. The generalized, not generalized, but particular phenomena, it's a correct. So I seen that 1,000 swan, it is a white. For that meaning, all the swan in the world in the word color is not correct. So that is the meaning of this. So particular observation we seen the 1,000 swan, and generalization all swan are white. So this is the inductive reasoning. So are you clear, deductive or inductive? Shall I move on next?
Yes.
Yeah. So and third one is the abductive reasoning, an argument that the points out the particular fact, or points out that if a particular hypothesis were true, we get this fact. And third condition is conclude the hypothesis is indeed true. So we try to prove that argument particular point to is a true or false. So example is say abductive argument seems to make a bigger jump than inductive argument. So the main is the objective argument say the successful prediction prove the theory is the true. So we need to theory is prove the theory is the true. And example premise is the coins conduct the electricity, it is a fact. So the hypothesis is if the coins are made of the coal, and prediction then they would conduct the electricity. The coins are made of the code. So these are the examples of abductive reasoning. So these are the picture diagram for the three different types of reasoning. Inductive is the specific observation to general, and deductive is the general to specific observation. And abductive reasoning we trying to be a best prediction, we predict particular phenomena, that is called abductive, or we prove the theory, that is abductive reasoning. So I'll clear that three different types of reasoning. So I hope you clear. So I hope I move on next slide. So structure of the argument. So argument in general form of the communication try to persuade its audience adopt the particular position about the topic. So argument have three main parts. One is a claim that state position to be argued, reason that logically explain why the claim should be accepted, and evidence that support reason with the fact and anecdotes and statistics and expert testimony and example. So reasoning has to be a systematic and logical. There are two main components in the reasoning, and one is the argument that called the premises or statement or proposition, and second one is the conclusion. So validity argument, there are invalid and valid and invalid, two types of argument is there. So if the argument is valid, it is a valid deduction. If it premises are true, the conclusion must be a true. So if the argument is the valid, the conclusion will be must be a true. And value argument cannot be a true, have a true premise and false conclusion. So if they have a true premise, it cannot be a false conclusion. And preposition, that the sentence that a proposition is a sentence that makes a statement and gives a relation between two more terms. So preposition mean commonly the preposition give the relationship between two or more terms. In logical reasoning, we can say any statement is termed as a preposition, and preposition is can preposition is assumed to be a true and from which conclusion can be drawn. So next is the component of the categorical position, very important. Please give important this topic. So in categorical proposition, there are four components. One is the subject term and predict term and copula and quantifier. So here subject term is the first term, and predict term is the second category or class. Copula is the grammatical link, and quantifier is the word that specify that the quantity of the subject predict the terms. Example, all cats are mammal. So here all is a quantifier, cat is a subject term, R is a grammatical verb, that is called copula. Mammals are the predictor. So in most of the question they asking what is meaning copula. So the grammatical link between subject term and predict term. Here subject is a cat and predict is a mammal. So R is a copula, that is the grammatical link. So this is the major four components of the categorical position. And next is the in categorical position, there are two important thing is there. One is the universal and particular. In universal mean there are different categories. One is the affirmative and negative. Affirmative is all that argument started with all, that is called affirmative, includes the all of the classes. Negative mean in argument started with the no, excluded all of the classes. In particular mean in some of the part, that is in started with some, includes a part of the classes. So this is a two different categorical proposition, universal and particular. Universal, there are two type. Affirmative, it start with the all word, and negative, it start with the no, excluded all of the classes. So next is the properties of the categorical position, and one is a quantity. So quantity of the categorical position means determined by the quantifier user, like all, no, this kind of word used by the quantifying. And quality is the categorical position according to determined according to whether the preposition asserted of the Dennis and overlap between the classes. See, the categorical position, it accept or deny the argument, it is the qualitative. And affirmative, if the preposition assert the overlap between classes and categories. So affirmative mean it asserts, so all the classes they are accepted, that is called affirmative. Negative is the Dennis. So it started with the no words, so it no means it's a Dennis called Dennis, preposition Dennis and overlap between categories or classes. Distribution, if the preposition refers to entire class named by the term. So the whole argument, as in the whole argument, preposition refer to um, class entire named by the term, it is a distribution. So there are different types of category preposition. We can see, look at one by one. So first is the universal positive or affirmative. It denotes a year word. So it denotes mean inclusion. So universal positive or affirmative means include everything. So example, example is, see, form is all S is V, where S is the subject, is the copula, P is the predict. Here all is the quantifier. Here all is the affirmative or universal positive. Example, all cats are animal. It is basically about the inclusion. So distribution mean it distributes subject only. So subject is a cat. So he distributes the subject only. So example, look at that diagram in figure 6.1. So the example, all cats are animals. So all is the small circle, animal is the big circle. So in cats included in the inclusion in the animals. So that is the all cats are the animals. So this is a universal positive, it denoted by year. And second is a universal negative, it denoted E. So no S is the P. The form is no S is the P. So S is the subject, P is the predict. And example, no fish are the birds. So here the no relationship with fish and birds. It's that is a means of no fish are the birds. And both subject and predict distribution. So this is the universal negative. It denoted E. And next is the particular position preposition. Particular prepositions mean we can divide it into two different part, and particular positive in it denoted I, and particular negative it denoted O. So some S is the P. So some example, form of the particular positive, some S is the P. Example, some men are foolish. It is this statement called particular preposition. So see, foolish are men. So here some foolish are men. So here is the some of the men are foolish. It's a particular a positive. It denotes I, and particular negative. It's denoted O. It means it's partial excluded. Suppose they exclude foolish of the men. So they excluded some of the men are not foolish. That is called the particular negative. So some of the S not P. So some birds are not carnivores. Here some is the denote here negative, not is a denoted in a negative. This is a particular negative. So these are the different types of the categorical preposition. See, please look at this tabular column. So statement, first statement, all S or P. So here the example, all politicians are liars. So all means here universal. Okay, they are giving. We look at C. Here is all. So that is called universal. So that is a quantity is a universal. Quality is a positive. So they included all the people. That is a positive. That is a qualitative manner. And second is the E. That is a no SRP. So example, no politician or liars. So this also included all the people. So universal. Here no denoted the negative connotation. That is called the negative. Qualitative is a negative. So for both subjective and predictor is a distributed. And third one is the I. I means some particular. So example is some politician are the liars. Here they give the some politician is a particular. Here is not included the word not word, so that is a positive. So suppose they included some politician or not liar, it means qualitative is the negative man. So these are the main characters of the preposition. So example, they will they give all politicians are the liars. So what are the qualitative or quantitative and qualitative of this proportion? So universal positive. So quantitative is a universal, qualitative is a positive. So no politician, no, they include the all the people. So that is the universal. No means negative, so universal negative. So these are the major question will be coming like this. And do you understand what is the characters of preposition? Or we need more? Shall I move on next slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And next slide is classical square of opposition. So this is very important in this unit. So classical square opposition, based on our categorical proportion, we made this diagram. See, A is all particular, and see the position. I will definitely explain this diagram. So the position is a immediate inference grounded on the relationship between the preposition which have the same term but differ in the quantity and quality or both. So all for any formal opposition between the two propositions. So like here A is denoted universal affirmative in positive, and E is a universal affirmative in negative. I is a particular positive. O is a particular negative. So the preposition type A, I, A, E, I, O. So remember in vowels A, E, I, O, U, you cancel U, just memory A, E, I, O. So whenever they asking related classical square of opposition, just draw this diagram A, E, I, O. So A, E is the contrary, AI is a sub alternation, EO is a sub alternation, IO is a sub contrary. In both AO and I is a contradictory. We look one by one. So please memory or understand this diagram. In the exam they asking this kind of question. Please draw this diagram. Then only we can solve this kind of the questions. So I move on this next slide. So contradictory means they are opposition. Both are opposition. So A is opposition. O is A opposite of O, or I opposite of the E. See this. Look at the diagram. So two preposition are said to be contradictory if both cannot be a true or both cannot be a false. That is called the contradictory. So contradictory A O and I is the contradictory. So example, see, all politicians are liars. All politicians are liars. O is the some politicians are not liars. And here the E and I prepositions are the contradictory. It means here they given all politicians are liar, but in O some politicians are not liar. So they are contradicted. This is called the contradictory. So do we clear what is the contradictory? This is very important. If you don't clear, I will explain again. So please share your understanding. If you clear, what is a contradictory?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah. So one is the opposition of the another. That is called the contradictory. And next is the contrary. Contrary mean universal proportion are said to be contrary. So the between the universal proportion can be a contrary. It's mean all are between the all and between the no. Between the all or no, there is some contradictory. That means a contrary. So here example, all politicians are liar is the true, no politician liars or must be false. So they are already given all politician or liar is a true, but here no politician or liar must be false. So they are both are contrary. That means the universal preposition. Between the universal preposition, it is called the contrary. That means uh, contrary between all and no. This is called a contrary. So clear. Clear between contrary. What is the contrary? Shall I move on next topic? So next slide. Please respond. Okay. Basically, contrary means if all is true, E is basically it's true. Otherwise, they cannot both are simultaneously true. It is a contrary. And next is the sub-contrary. So sub-contrary means if the particular proposition can both true but cannot both the false. If A is the true, E also true. If A is the false, sorry, I is a A is a false, E also false. This is a sub-contrary. Example: all men are honest, so no men are honest. So same meaning, that is a sub-contrary. All judges are liars, so no judges is liar. So this is a between the can both are true, so can both be a true, but both cannot be a false. So there is a sub-contrary. So example, see, all men are honest. Sub, that means no men are honest. And all judges are liars, that means no judges is a liar. That is a sub-contrary. So it can be both are true but both not be a false. That is a sub-contrary. And sub-alternation, it is a differentiate between the particular and particular to universal. So A to I and E to O. So example, all Indians are spiritual or some Indians are spiritual. So if all Indians are spiritual, no Indians are spiritual means it's a sub-contrary. So A and I are the sub-contrary. And some Indians are spiritual means some it's a opponent of the is a some Indians are not spiritual within the a particular particular universal to particular sorry universal to particular different contrary, it's a sub alternation. So this is a major difference between categorical preposition. So if you look at the example, if you can clearly understand. So I give the some example after the classes, then you could understand. Once again you go through this slide, you can understand. And I move on the next slide. So clear what is the difference between contrary, contradictory and sub-contrary and sub-alternation? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because this is a very important chapter, so we are accepted one or two questions from particularly in this based on this topic. That's why I'm asking again. If you don't understand, again I will explain. Otherwise, I move on this next slide. So categorical syllogism. So categorical syllogism is the premises. So it's a combine of the premises and conclusions is the categorical preposition. Example, all hats are fashionable and all fashionable clothing is purple. So some hats are the purple. They giving both are all, and conclusion giving some hats are the purple. So this is the categorical syllogism. So what are the standard form? So major term, minor term, middle term, major premises and minor premises. Major term is the first premises predict the conclusion, and minor term is the minor which is the second premises. So here is the all hats are fashionable or clothing. So here the first major term, it is the first premises to predict the conclusion, and second is the minor term, it is the second subject of the conclusion. So here is the predicts is the clothing, and here the purple is the color, it is the minor subject of this term, and third is the middle term which appears the both premises not in the conclusion. So fashionable is the here the middle term. So both are in the only in appear in the premises, not in the conclusion. So in conclusion there is no word fashionable. So that is the middle term. And major premises which contains a major term, and minor premises which contains a minor term. So these are the major standard form of the categorical position. So hat is the subject, purple is the predict. So here major term is the hat, and purple is the predict minor term, and middle is the fashionable, and this is the form of the categorical syllogism. And I move on the fallacy, next topic. So fallacies is the errors in the reasoning or argumentation that can lead the faulty or deceptive conclusion. So we are thinking about some argument that is called error. That error lead to the faulty conclusion or deceptive. This is a fallacy. Majorly there are two types of fallacies is there: informal fallacies and formal fallacies. Formal fallacies is a characterized by argument that possesses an invalid structure or form. So there are five types of formal fallacies. So asista, Sabya Fikra, and Satripratik Paksha, and Viruta, and Patita. So we'll one by one go one by one. And Asista or Satyasna fallacy. It occurs someone assumes that because of the conclusion has not proven false, it must be a true. So it means we are assuming something. We are assuming that conclusion is true because that is not proven. That is called asista or satyama fallacy. Example: there is no evidence that ghost does not exist, so they must be a real. So there is no evidence for ghost is not exist in the society, but because of that must be a real. Because of that, ghost is a real. That is the asista or satyasma fallacy. So are you clear what is the asista and satyasama fallacy? Shall I move on the next types? Okay. So next is the Sabya Pikara fallacy. It is the known as a irrelevant conclusion which occurs when argument present evidence or reasoning that is related to irrelevant the original point being the discussed. So basically it is a irrelevant conclusion. Example: talking about the renewable energy in the discussion of the topic of the climate change. So in the discussion of the climate change, we talk of the renewable energy. It is irrelevant of the conclusion. That is the Sabya Pikara fallacy. And next is the Satripriti fallacy. It means inferential contradicting middle by the another middle. So example: sound is the eternal because it's audible, and sound is non-eternal because it is a producer like a pot. So like it is a contradicted middle by the another middle. Say example: sound is the eternal. We cannot change the chant. That is because it is audible. That is a fallacy of the Satripitika fallacy. Or sound is a non-eternal because it's produced like a pot. So this is a Satripriti Paksa fallacy. And Virita fallacy is a when contradictory and inconsistent statement are made within the argument. When we are talking we made an argument that is a contradictory or the inconsistent. Example: all cats are mammals, but some cats are the not mammals. We already told all cats are all cats are the mammals, but again we say some cats are not mammals. It is a contradict for the first argument. So that is called the Vriddha fallacy. And Patita, it is a non-inferential contradictory in the middle. So what is the goal? Because it is a substance. So it is an inferential because it's non-appearance things. That is the patita fallacy. So these are the formal fallacies. Next is the informal fallacies. So informal fallacies is a we are making by the argument that contain incorrect or irrelevant premises. So there are several types of informal fallacies are there. So add hominem and appeal to authority and ad populum or false dilemma, strawman and circular reasoning, slippery slope and false claim. So we go one by one. And ad hominem fallacy mean the fallacy occurs when argument attacks the person making the argument rather than addressing the argument. So suppose we made the argument for that I made the argument. If you people are participate in argument, if you are not making the argument but you making the personal attack, that is called the admin fallacies. So example, you cannot trust their argument because they are now known to be dishonest. So you know that that person is a dishonest. um, because of dishonest, you don't do believe their argument. It is a hard hominem fallacy. So basically it means making the instead of making the argument, you made the personal attacks. That is called the ad hominem fallacy. And next is the ad papillum fallacy. So when someone argues that claim must be a true or false because it's a popular or widely believed. So making up the argument that is must be a true or false because it's a popular or widely believed without the evidence or logical reasoning. Example, we everyone knows the astrology is a real, so million people of believe in it, so it must be a true. There is no evidence and logical reasoning for the astrology, but we are it is a popular and widely believed, that's why it be a we believe that. That is called papillum fallacy. It's a popular true or false, so without the evidence or logical reasoning, it is a papillum fallacy. And next is the false dilemma fallacy. It is known as a black and white fallacy or ignoring other available choices. It oversimplifies the complex issues by framing them the binary choices. So it means making a argument with the binary choice, yes or no. Like example, if you are with us or if you are against us, we made a choice to two binary things. One is if you are with us or against us. This is called the false dilemma fallacy. And strawman fallacy, the strawman fallacy involves the misrepresenting or exaggerating opponent argument. That means example, if they are advocating please use the public transportation, but the opponent argument exaggerate or misinterpreting, like he say ban the all the gods call. That is the strawman fallacy because of they interpreting or misinterpreting or exaggerating the original opponent argument. Examples, as said, they claim we want ban all cars, but in reality we are advocating for the public transportation. This is a strawman fallacy. And the circular reasoning fallacy. Circular reasoning is also known the begging the question occurs when the conclusion of an argument used one of the premises. This type of fallacy create the illusion of logical validity but fails to provide the meaningful evidence or reasoning. So circular reasoning fallacy, basically it creates the illusion conclusion fail to meaningful or evidence or reasoning. Example, the Bible is true because it's a word of the God. We know it is a word of God because of the Bible says so. It is an example of the circular reasoning. So circular reasoning fallacy. And is a slippery slope fallacy. So slippery slope fallacy assumes negative outcomes from the small initial step without the sufficient evidence, over generalizing and exaggerating potential consequence and legitimate concerns. So example, allowing the smartphone in the class, it's lead to using them during exam, causing the education system to collapse. That means we don't know the we don't know the proper evidence or sufficient evidence, but we conclude it will collapse the whole system. Example, if we allowed the smartphone in the examination, that will collapse the education system. We don't know what is the we don't know proper research or evidence for this kind of the statement. That is called the slippery slope fallacy. And next is a false case fallacy. It is a assumes causation based on the solely and temporal sequence, lacking proper evidence or reasoning. The fallacy can lead to erroneous conclusion and misunderstanding of cause and effective relationship. So example, every time I wear my lucky socks, so my team wins, so my socks must be the reason for the success. So they are making here the superstition, like they don't know, they're not they misunderstand the cause and effect. So if you play very well, then only you can win, or if you play very well, you can score a good score in the exam. But if I wear that particular shirts or socks, then only I win. That is the false cause fallacy. So these are the different types of informal fallacies. And next is the definition. So definition is a comprehensive description of the concept by means of noun, concept, or expression in the verbal means. So definition had two different parts. One is a definitum and definition. So the term which to be a definite, it is called a definitum. It may be a word or phrase or symbol or subject of the definition, especially in dictionary entry or logical system by using define. And definite mean words used to the define a term. So definite mean a term which is used to be a defined, and definite is a word used to be a define the term. It is a difference between definite term and definite. And there are different types of definition is the intentional definition, essential definition, lexical, stipulative, pricing, persuasive definition, operational definition, and functional definition, ostensive definition, and analogies definition. So we what does a lexical, what is mean the lexical definition? It is literally mean dictionary meaning of the words. So lexical definition helping removing the ambiguity. Example, lexical definition: river is a large natural channel of the water. So lexical definition, literally it is a dictionary definition. And theoretical definition is the scientific definition of anything or any concept. Like heat, theoretical definition of heat is the energy associated with the random motion and molecular of the substance. Or theoretical definition of weight is a measurement of the gravitational weight acting on the subject. So these are the difference between lexical and theoretical. Lexical is the dictionary meaning. Theoretical definition is the scientific meaning or of anything or any concept. And next is the stipulative definition. Stipulative definition is a type of the definition in which new currently existing term is given new specific meaning for the purpose of the argument or discussion given in the context. It is a new meaning giving the already existing term. Example, some people use the LOL for lots of love, and some of now we use the laughing out of love. So already the word LOL is there, but the meaning is lots of love. Now they using for the new meaning, using of the new definition, that is a laughing out of love. That's mean the stipulative definition. And pricing definition, the process purpose of the processing definition is to reduce vagueness of the word. When the vagueness has been read, one can reach the right decision as to apply the word of the situation. So the word poor is the verb, And if the legislation were ever introduced to give the direct financial to the poor, we need the precising definition, who are the poor. So we need the uh, very simple manner of the definition of the particular word, that is a precising definition. And persuasive definition is any definition that attach an emotive, positive and direct or derogatory meaning. It has no where it has none. So it is a basically emotive, positive and derogatory meaning. Example, someone against the abortion might offer the definition of abortion is murder of innocent person during the uh, pregnancy. So here it is a emotive meaning. So this is a persuasive definition. So persuasive definition is the emotion, giving the emotion definition for the particular argument. That is a persuasive definition. And is a parenthetical definition. So sometimes for the sake of the explanation, we write the meaning of the some word in parenthesis in the sentence. So meaning of the difficult word in P word is the parenthesis in the bracket. So a dog, we are in example, a dog in bracket, not a cat, is an animal that walks. So phrase is not is a cat in a parenthesis. So we in some words we mentioned in that bracket, that is called the parenthetical word, like my umbrella can still steal two of us rainfall, which is somewhat broken. So that is a parenthetical definition. And is a denotation. Already we detailedly discussed in that research methodology. Again we tell denotation is a word or literal is a word or thing, literal or main definition. Denotation means majorly is a dictionary definition. And example, denotation of the word blue, it is a color, but the connotation we use cultural or word is a blue color indicate the sad. So it is a basically denotation is the dictionary meaning, literal meaning of the word. And connotation is a it expresses the feeling. There may be a positive or negative or neutral depending on the context, though it create the meaning depending on the context, positive or negative or emotional meaning. Connotation meaning mostly it's a cultural or social meaning. Example, young example here see example also same blue. Blue is a color in the denotation, I mean dictionary meaning, but some of we use it for the sad emotion. We use the color word, that is called the connotation. And these are the different types of definition. Next we move on the another important topic, that is the Indian logic or means of the knowledge. Mostly here the words are Sanskrit words, so please give attention for this chapter particularly. So epistemology, it is study of the origin, nature and limits of the human knowledge. So how we acquire the knowledge, that is called the epistemology. And philosophy is the study of the inference and argument. Sorry, logic is the study of the inference and argument. And philosophy basically deals with the interpretation of man and nature. So philosophy is that deals of the man and nature. So as per the Indian knowledge system, knowledge is first received through the perception, that's called the pratyaksha, and comparison is the upamana of the words of sacred. So in Indian knowledge system, we acquire the knowledge basis of the two. One is the through the perception and the comparison, pratyaksha and upamana. Pratyaksha means perception, upamana means the comparison. So Indian knowledge we can divide in two types. One is the orthodox, Astic, and unorthodox is the Gnostic. Orthodox is the based on the Vedas, and unorthodox is the non-Vedas. So orthodox we can divide in four types of knowledge. One is the Nyaya and Samakya and Vaisheshika and Mimamsa and Purva Mimamsa. And unorthodox is a Buddhist, Jainism, and Charvaka. It is based on the materialistic view. So these are the Indian logic system, 2 types, orthodox and unorthodox. And orthodox 4 types, unorthodox 3 types. So we go by one. And orthodox is a orthodox view of the knowledge. So the Naya and Vaisheshika schools are primarily analytic and therefore more concerned with the logic and epistemology than the ethics. So Naya school, it was formed during the 4th century by Gautama. The knowledge comes from the perception, inference, comparison, and verbal testimony. That means pratyaksha and upamana and anumana and verbal testimony is a sabda. So object of learning, self, body, sense organ, and sense objective, intellect, mind, and activity. So Nyaya philosophy mean knowledge is termed as the a manifestation of object. So we learning through the object, that is the Naya school. So next is the Vaisheshika philosophy. Vaisheshika means particularly or emphasize the individuals. It here they emphasize the individual knowledge. So it can 3 real objectives: substance, quality, and activity. So Vaisheshika also acknowledges perception, inference, comparison, and verbal testimony as a valid source of knowledge. And Mimasa literal meaning is a reverse thought, originally applied to the interpretation of the Vedic ritual, which command the higher reverence. So all knowledge is valid by itself. Mimasa is a pluralistic, realistic. It believes the reality of the external world and of the individual source. So Samakya is the according to the Samkhya, both validity and invalidity knowledge are the self-evident, and these are the orthodox views, the 4 types, and heterodox is the Jainism. So Jainism has critically examined all the valid source of knowledge. So here the 2 types of knowledge, and Pramana and Nyaya. Pramana, it refers to knowledge of things as it is. So Brahman is the source of the knowledge, and Naya knowledge is it's a reflection. And Jainism is also polytheistic religion, and its goals are based on the non-violence and liberation of the soil. Jainism suggests respect to the other things and attain the liberation by avoiding and shedding the bad karma which cause rebirth and suffering. So on Buddhism in epistemologic ideology, we can see different opinion among other 4 schools in Buddhism: Yogacara and Madhyamika and Saudrantika and Vaibhashika. Buddhism is centered upon the life of the Buddha, and Buddhism also is a polytheistic religion, and main goal is the enlightenment. The Buddhism says life is a suffering, and the only way to escape from this suffering is the dispersal one craving, ignoring by practicing the eightfold path in the Buddhism. So next is the Pramana, and Brahmanas, the source of the knowledge. So Brahmana means source of the knowledge. So Pramana means proof or source of the knowledge. Knowledge can be termed as a Prama, it's a valid, or Aparma, invalid. So knowledge can be valid knowledge and invalid knowledge. It can, that Sanskrit term is Prama and Aparma. So there are 4 factors involved in any knowledge. One is a subject who knows, they call the Pramata. Objective of knowledge, Pramaya. Means of valid knowledge, Pramana. The resultant of knowledge is a Prama. So these are the 4 factors in the Pramana. And 4 important means in inference, and Upamana is a comparison, Sabda is a verbal testimony, and Pratyaksha is the perception, most we acquiring the knowledge through the sense of the organ. Here Aksha means sense of organ, Prati means function of each organs. So Pratyaksha, Prati means function of each organ, and Aksha means sense of the organ. So perception is a valid form of knowledge produced by the contact on object with the sense of the organ. And there are 2 types of Pratyaksha. One is the Anubhava and Smriti. Anubhava is the direct perception. Through the experience, we get the perception, that is the Anubhava. Smriti, remember the perception, to remember. So we remember some mantra or some knowledge, that is called the smriti perception. So perception again we divided into two following categories. One is the ordinary and second is the extraordinary. Ordinary is a laukika. It related to the it related to words of the trustworthy people, and extraordinary only come in. It also known as the divine or scripture. So basically, the Vedas created by God, therefore it's the valid perfectly. That is the alulika, extraordinary, and ordinary is the it is related to the words by the trustworthy, based on the hope people the word we pursue some knowledge, that is called the laukika. So these are the different categories in the perception. Next is the anumana. Etymologically the word anumana indicates the after knowledge. Anumana means, anu means after, mana is the knowledge, that means after knowledge. It is a second source of valid knowledge. And the term anumana literally means the after the knowledge, a knowledge that follow the other knowledge and universal truth. So basically, anumana is depends on the already existing the knowledge. That is the second source of the knowledge. So inference is dependent the knowledge of an object lingi due to the previous knowledge, some sign or mark. It's a linga. So it's called like second source of knowledge, and mediate and indirect the knowledge. And upamana means comparison. So upamana is the combination of upa and mana. Upa means similarity, and mana is the knowledge and cognition. So mostly we compare the knowledge, similar knowledge, that is called the upamana. So between the knowledge of the relation between the person or denotation, upamana is the third source of knowledge, and upamana's distinct meanings of the knowledge. Basically, upamana is the we compare our similarity between the object, that is called the upamana. And sabda, it's a verbal testimony. So sabda is the fourth and last valid source of knowledge. Sabda literally means the verbal knowledge. Literally means the verbal knowledge. So verbal testimony is a communication from the trustworthy person. Who is the trustworthy person, and why is assertion is the testimony. So in verbal knowledge there are two kinds. One is the trust artha and atrust hartha. So it relating to the perceptible object, means sensible object attainable in the world, and atrust artha is the imperceptible object, that means super sensible object which is attainable other world. So the literal meaning sabda is the verbal knowledge, and arthapati also some of the other knowledge is also there. So arthapati means pre-assumption, that called assumption. So the knowledge deriving from the assumption. So the using the circumstance to make the assumption, or assumption will make the change the circumstance. So arthapati is a method assumption, noun fact to account for a unknown fact to account for the noun fact. So these are this is the arthapati, and anublabdhi is a non apprehension. So cognitive proof using the non existing, literally meaning anublabdhi is a non apprehension. Apprehension knowledge is the non existing knowledge from non existing of the thing. And structure of the kind anumana is the inference we already discussed. It's a literal meaning the secondary knowledge or secondary proof knowledge. And Naya theory of the perception, we find the five preposition. First is the pratinjna preposition. So that is mean hypothesis or tentative statement. Hetu, it means reason, middle term. And udarana is the example, universal example. Upanayana is the application or reaffirmation. Nikmana is the deduction or the conclusion. So the question they asking from this kind, this example, see, look at the give the importance. in these examples. There are 5 members of the syllogism. This hill has fire. This is a pratyajina. That means we made a one statement or hypothesis. The hill has fire because it has smoke. The reason is smoke. That is that's why it's a fire. This is a hetu. That means the reason. Here smoke is the reason for the fire. That is a hetu. And water, third is the whatever has smoke has fire. For example, an oven. Udarana example, in oven also there is a smoke. That's why the fire. At all, same also the smoke in the mountain. That's why it's a fire. It is a udarana. So we here we compare our exam given the example oven for instead of the hill, and next is the hill has a smoke which is invariably associated with the fire. So application. So without smoke there is no fire. That is the invariably associated, and therefore we conclude the hill has a fire. That's why it is the hill has a fire. This is a nigmana. Through the all the 3% we conclude the hypothesis, that is the nigmana. So they many times they asking this example, the hill has fire because it has smoke. What is the meaning of this proportion? Hetu, they give hetu prajanina or udarana. So hetu is the reason for this example. So this is a very important. Please give more important. This is this kind of say this particular chapter. And there are some like we already discussed perception and pratyaksha. We through acquiring knowledge through the senses of the organ. Inference is the anumana from the assumption. Comparison analogy, the upamana, and word and testimony is sabda, and postulation derivation is arthapati, and non-perception, negative and cognitive proof is the anuplabdhi. So these are the 6 pramanas in the ancient medieval Indian text. Based on 6 pramanas, the schools like Buddhism school, Jainism school, Vaisheshika, different schools are which type of pramanas they are using. Like Charvaka school of the Hinduism, they hold only one knowledge, that is the perception knowledge, and Buddhism hold the 2 knowledge, that is the perception and inference. These also very important. And Mimamsa and Advaita, they followed 6 knowledge like perception, inference, testimony, arthaplabdhi, anuplabdhi, the 6 knowledge. And Mimamsa and Advaita, they followed the 6 knowledge, and Nyaya school, they followed 4 knowledge out of 6 brahmanas. So Pratyaksha, Anumana, Upamana, Sab, they excluded Anuplabdhi and Arthapati. And Vaisheshika, they accept only 2 knowledge, that is the perception and inference. And Sankhya, they acknowledge 3 knowledge, Pratyaksha, Anumana, Sabda. So these also very important. Many times they asking then Buddhism school which what are the knowledge they are acknowledge. Answer is perception and inference. And Jainism, which are what are the knowledge they are following, perception, inference, and testing. So these are the major type of the Indian philosophy or Indian knowledge. So I stop it here. Do you have any doubt? I know it is very little bit difficult. If you understanding the concept, you can easily solve the answer like related categorical proportion or square of the opposition. We can easily clear solve the question. So I finished the mostly theoretical form of all the unit. So do you have any doubt particularly in logical reasoning? So please reply, otherwise we can conclude the session. You have any doubt? You have any doubt, please ask. I will share the PPT. So please one or two time give importance this topic because it's related to logical reasoning. That's why please give importance this topic. Okay, so everybody understood little bit also understood this concept, everyone? Okay, I know this is very little bit tricky. If you use proper understanding only you can solve these questions. Okay, others, do you have any doubt? So basically this we expected one question from classical square of opposition and two questions from Indian knowledge system, what I shared the last 10 slides, and we expected from categorical proportion and fallacies and types of fallacy and types of definition. And this is very important Indian knowledge system, classical square of and types of fallacies and definitions. I hope you will all are I give some basic understanding on the logical especially all the unit. From tomorrow we will look at the mathematical reasoning and data interpretation. And thank you. I conclude today's session and thank you everyone. If you have any doubt, please text or mail me. Thank you.